Hello everyone, it's Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life. Welcome back to Scraptember / 30 Days of Sketches 8. We are on to day 4. You can see the sketch up there provided, and the theme is to use a white background. So that was not challenging because I use white backgrounds all the time, but when I planned out this layout, I wasn't planning to use a white background, so it did make it a little bit challenging, but I had fun trying to figure out how to spice up the white background to fit with the theme of what I'm working with today. Please make sure, before I forget to say, you head on over and of course check out Laura and the Scrappy Sisters. One of Jess or Katie's layouts will be up for you today. And our special guest for Scraptember is Virginia Walker. And then of course, everyone playing along with 30 Days of Sketches just in general will be linked below for you. So lots of links to check out, and I hope you have fun hopping around and seeing what we all do. This is a very circle themed sketch. As you can see, I am embracing the circles by using a cut file. I believe it was just one I randomly had in my stockpile, and it's just a messy circle one. You can get them from a bunch of different places. I do believe that Virginia herself from Confessions of a Paper Addict has this type of cut file, if this is not actually hers. So be sure to check that out. And then I'm going to embrace one of them with a sequin shaker pocket, which I'm going to be a little in depth with in a minute. You'll see that. Of course, my plan is just to embrace the circle. So this is what you're going to see here. I even pulled out some flair. I am using the Legendary collection from Cocoa Vanilla Studio. This is one I repurchased. I had a little bit of this collection before when it first came out. But Scrapbook Your Joy had it, and I repurchased it from her. The whole collection that she had available in her shop. And I love this collection. It is the perfect boy collection, but it doesn't have to be boy. You could use it for your girl as well. It's got lovely tones to it. But my son's shirt is this kind of like camouflage, like a gray blue camouflage shirt. And it matched this pattern paper that I've used to cut my circles out of perfectly. Like, it couldn't have been a better option. I loved that. So it kept everything kind of flowing, and almost to the point where the photo up at the top that I cut into a circle when I was talking earlier, it is almost hard to tell that it's a photo unless you're really looking at my layout, because it looks like it's supposed to just be part of the circle. I love that, because the other two I left in the square form, Instagram type form. I cut them into, I think one's 3x3 and one's maybe a little bit smaller than that. They might both be 3x3 though, and with the frame it just looks a little larger. Highlighted the one of him actually looking at me with the frame, so you kind of get the idea. Bringing in stars. For some reason, these type of stars, these small ones, without it being a full-on star explosion layout, I actually struggle with stars, and I wanted to not do that. So I'm going to add some stars onto this layout. And now I'm going to spice up the background like I was talking about. I needed there to be something. I've been using so many pre-mixed media backgrounds and doing a little bit of my own mixed media that having just a plain white cardstock background, it just feels like naked. So I had to dress it up a little bit. And I'm simply just going to add splatters. And I'm going to tell you, this is when you're doing splatters and then you're covering a bunch of it up, you basically need to splatter the entire page, because I had to go back twice, and I don't do it on camera, but I had to go back twice and add more splatters because I kept covering up the ones I had, and I had some really good splatters I didn't want to cover up. Everything's actually worked well with my splatters this time. But yeah, so I had to just keep adding. So there's something about that, and I know you could wait and add your splatters afterwards, but I didn't want any of it on any of the paper, the cut, like my cut file circle pattern paper, and I definitely didn't want any on my photos. So to me, adding it before putting everything back down was just a better option for me. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. And now I'm going to work on my my sequin shaker pocket. Now, this is a little tricky because this cut file does not have a lot of room for being able to add foam and make this sequin pocket work. It was difficult, but I'm just showing you in general how to make one. And I will say it's the basic. I just use leftover packaging as my front, so my clear piece, but you can have some acetate stuff, like you can just however you want to do it. But you need the clear coat at the top. You glue that down, however, what works for you. I like to use liquid adhesive, make sure it's nice and glued down in there. You then add your foam tape, and I am using the Big Mama foam from Spiegel Mom Scraps. I will say I love this foam. It's fabulous foam, but when you're trying to cut it in half, this foam, this stuff is legit, guys. Like, it sticks. It's like red line tape. Doesn't go anywhere. So it's hard to cut. However, it's the thinnest one I had, and I didn't want to have to go, it's double-sided. So I didn't want to have to go in with like my tape, my foam tape that you can get from, Walmart, just that type of foam. I didn't want to use that because I'd have to go back over it with my tape gun or something to get just the second half, taped down, because it's only got adhesive on the one side. So this was my best option, and it totally works. So what I ended up doing is I filled my sequin pocket. You're going to see the white shining through because, of course, it's way thicker than the little lines from the cut file. And all I ended up doing is off camera, I lifted up, and I don't know why I did it off camera. I'm sorry, but I did. But I lifted it up, the cut file up where the parts that were hanging down, and I just trimmed it to the best of my ability so that you didn't see much of it. And then the one spot that I needed it to stay, because otherwise my sequins would all fall out, I'm just going to add a star and cover up the white. And it worked perfectly. Now, there's different things you could do. You could add a really cool trim around it. Lots of ways to cover that up. But I wanted to add a sequin pocket. I wanted to add it on that one, and I made it work. And sometimes when you really want to do something, that's what you have to do. So there you have it. There's my sequin pocket. I'm going to add in all these circles back, kind of play around with the placement of things, and just make this work for me. My whole intention with this layout was to be able to document a very boyish layout, because this is my oldest. Back in 2019, in our front yard of our old house, we had this little patch of garden area, which was mostly just dirt. And he had his little tractors out and was playing, and just had them all out playing, and was doing a very boy thing. And I could have grabbed a cut file that was like a digger cut file, lots of different options, and made this all boy, but I wanted it to be a little bit more subtle. And so I felt like doing it this way, with not being in your face, boy playing in dirt type of thing. I didn't even add the word dirt to my title. I just titled it Happy Dude. I felt like it just kind of worked. You get the point of it. You can see the photos. My journaling does say how much he loved playing in the dirt, so you know what it's talking about, but it's just not in your face, over the top themed to what he's doing. Now, I like that stuff too. I do that, especially with certain things. But this one, I just wanted it to be a little bit more subtle, and I'm so happy with how it turned out. I love that I was able to get the pattern paper to match his shirt, and I'm so happy that I actually did a white background. Even though I added a ton of splatters, it's still a white background. So I think I kind of succeeded in the challenge. I added enamel dots. I hope you all saw that and you're all proud. And there's a look at my finished layout. Thanks everyone so much for watching. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.